Hello, welcome back to Storytime. So yesterday we started reading Daft, Jack and the Beanstalk, and so we're going to carry on. So we left off with an old man offering something very special to Jack for Daisy the cow. And Jack said, "What?" The old man reached into his shopping bag. "Beans," said the old man. "Not just one bean, not just two beans. I'm going to give you a whole tin of baked beans." Do we think that's a fair trade? Tin of baked beans for a big old cow? Jack couldn't believe his luck. Not one bean, not two beans, but a whole tin of baked beans just for one cow. It must have been his lucky day. At last his mum would finally be proud of him. So Jack kissed Daisy goodbye and set off home, carrying the tin of beans as carefully as he could, and as carefully as he would carry a newborn baby, feeling very pleased with himself. He's going home so pleased. He thinks he's done a really good job. As soon as he saw the field, he began to shout, "Look, Mum, all our troubles are over. Guess what I got for Daisy? Not one bean, not two beans, but a whole tin completely full of beans. Why, Mother, there must be 100 yummy beans in this tin. I knew you'd be pleased." How do we think Mum's going to react? Do we think she's going to be fine? Do you think she's going to be angry? At the end of the week, when his mum had finished chasing him, Daft, Jack and his mum sat down in the middle of the field. "Oh, Jack," wailed his mum, "now we haven't even got a cow to sleep under. If only you were a clever boy, you'd think of something." "I have thought of something, Mum," said Jack. "Let's eat the beans." So Daft, Jack and his mum ate all the beans. They had nothing left at all. That night, Jack couldn't sleep. "I can't do anything right," he thought sadly. "My poor mother would be better off without me. I think I'll run away into the big wide world and seek my fortune." So Jack decided to leave a note for his mother. He couldn't find any paper, so he tore the label from the bean tin. But there was something already written on the back of the baked bean label. I wonder what's going to be written. Jack held the paper up to the moonlight and read aloud. I'm going to let you read it first. What does it say? It says, "Congratulations, you have bought the Lucky Bean Tin, and now a fantastic prize for you and your family." Jack woke his mother. When she saw the message on the bean tin, she couldn't believe her eyes. "Oh, Jack," she cried, "at last we'll be able to buy a proper house." "Yes," said Jack, "and I'll buy poor Daisy back. I fancy a nice glass of milk." And Jack's mum was too happy to chase him around the field. In the morning, they sent off the lucky bean label, and soon their prize arrived. A whole lorry load of baked beans. Jack and his mum didn't know what to say. They began to stack the tins in one corner of the field, but before they had finished, a second lorry of beans arrived. And all day long, the lorries kept coming. By the evening, there was a huge pile of bean tins, a stack of bean tins, a colossal, gleaming, monumental mountain of bean tins. There were bean tins right up to the clouds. So from that day, Daft, Jack and his mum ate beans. It was all they ever had. Hot beans, cold beans, warm beans, beans on toast, bean pudding. Beans, beans, beansy beans. And on Sundays, for a special treat, they had bean surprise, which was really just beans with beans on top. You can see so many tins of beans. Jack's mum would have given anything for a change. "I'm sick and tired of beans, she shouted one day. If I never eat another bean as long as I live, it'll be too soon. If only you were a clever boy, Jack, you would think of something. I have thought of something, said Jack. Bean juice milkshake. Oh, nice. So they had milk and milk and milk and milk, and now they've got beans, beans, beans and beans. There wasn't room to chase Jack around the field because the beanstalk was too big. So Jack's mum chased him up the beanstalk instead. Higher and higher, Jack hopped from tin to tin with his mum puffing and panting behind. Until at last, Jack climbed so high, he left his mum far behind. But Jack didn't stop. He kept on climbing. He looked down at the world below. He saw the field as small as a handkerchief, and his mum as tiny as an ant, and still Jack climbed higher. When he was almost too tired to climb anymore, Jack reached the top of the beanstalk, way up in the clouds. And we're going to stop there, and you'll come back tomorrow to see what happens when he gets up to the clouds.